ready to start.
Well, let's go ahead and get started.
All right.
Yeah, it's 10 after, so we don't want to wait too long for our, the library, friends of the library are sponsoring us here. We don't want to keep them too long, so let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome everybody to our August meeting of the Shasta Stargazers. It's good to see new faces in the house, and you're all welcome. Hopefully you're here to learn something new, and hopefully we succeed on teaching new things that you hadn't known before.
Speak up.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me okay, Lily?
I beg your pardon?
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to speak up. Okay.
And then there's always that.
It's just.
Doesn't take that time. Huh? I haven't been for a while, but I have been.
Lily's a regular.
They're smaller. It is. We love those ones.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
most people don't know about it. I tell them. Yeah.
Well, tonight we're gonna talk about current news and events, what our club is gonna be doing. We're gonna talk about what's up in August, you look up in the sky. And then we'll do main topic, which is exploring the third quarter moon, which happens to be my favorite phase of the moon to observe. And I think you'll find out why. And then we'll open it up to member discussions. It's your club, so give us your ideas on what you'd like to see and where the club goes. Okay, first in the news. This is 8 o'clock on the evening of our star party. We called it earlier about noon, saying it's canceled due to weather. And so that you can actually see our star party site is something right in here.
Oh my God.
So it's a good thing we weren't there.
Someone was praying for rain.
Yeah, they got it. It's lightning too. Lightning and rain.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting to be there, but I'm glad we weren't, especially with the flood advisory. I actually drove up the next day to look at the site, and it didn't appear that there's any significant water flow
And
at the site.
they got flooded out up at the ski park. Yes.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, we went to go up there.
So when was this last month?
Yeah, last month.
The last month's party.
So it was like
I
last.
think it's a week
couple
ago.
weeks ago?
A
Like
week ago, yeah.
a week ago Fridays.
Yeah, we can go Friday. On the
Yeah, right there. Wow.
so Mother Nature wasn't particularly
Cool.
agreeing to have us there that night. And of course, we're still waiting for T. Borealis to erupt for the benefit of our new members, new visitors. It's a recurring nova that's expected to become visible in the night sky. And starting late last year, it's supposed to become visible by the predictions, but it's been late, so we haven't seen it, but we haven't forgotten about it. So we're reminding our members that. Yeah, Lily?
Well, isn't it now going into the sunset?
No, it's come out of the sunset now. Yeah, late last year it's going into the sun, but now it's out, so it's visible in the evening sky. So, but if the nova occurs right now, we'll have a good view of it.
Okay.
So we haven't forgotten about it, and when it does happen, we'll put out email notifications to let everybody know. It's gonna be a fairly short, maybe 2 or 3 day period where it gets very bright and it fades away again. So we'll have the opportunity to catch it then. Okay, and who heard of the new third interstellar object that was just discovered?
Object of galaxy.
No, it's an object. It's actually,
Oh, I think they-
originally they believed it was an asteroid. Uh, But then further observation showed what's called a coma, the fuzziness about the asteroid, which indication that it's actually a comet. So it's a comet that came from deep space. Because most of the solar system objects have eccentricities less than one, so they're always orbiting in the solar system. But this one here has an eccentricity of a 6. Would mean it came in from deep space. It's going to pass through perihelion in late October, and then it's going to head out again. Never to be seen again. Yeah, the estimated size is 0.8 to 11 kilometers, so it's a fairly good size, asteroid. And so there's no risk of it hitting the Earth, because the closest you're going to get to the Earth is 1.8 astronomical units, which is out, in the vicinity of Mars. So that's the closest it's going to get. But what's really interesting about this is because it came in from the Milky Way black disk, it's believed to be 7 billion years old, which is significant because our solar system is 4.5 billion years old. So this is actually something older that's coming to pay us a visit.
How would they judge that? How would they know?
Pardon?
How would they know it's 7 or 4.5?
Well, where it's coming from.
So what, the speed of the light, I think that they. Yeah, I think they discovered it with that super big telescope, isn't that?
Yeah, one of the, not the space one, but the one in South America.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, one of the telescopes that are looking for near Earth asteroids.
Uh-huh.
And they just happened to see it. Yeah, this is actually a photograph of it that I took a couple of nights after we took discovered.
You took this?
Yeah,
Cool.
and you can see it right here. And here's the marker down here.
Mm.
And what you're seeing here, the stars, they're trailed because the telescope's moving on the motion of the comet. So it's keeping the comet centered and the stars are trailing slightly in the background. So, and then I got some more a couple of weeks later when it actually moved into the Sagittarius region of our Milky Way that we view from here. So we got a lot of stars in the Milky Way. So it's almost hidden back behind here, but I see it.
So is it still in the Sagittarius Milky Way?
I don't know exactly where it is right now. If it's moved out of that region or whether it's still.
Going, I don't know, north, south, east, west,
Well, I think it's going pretty much from east to west.
so is it moving back towards Capricorn?
I don't know offhand. We can look it up. So I actually got it twice. The second time was kind of by accident because I wasn't looking for it, but it inadvertently showed up on the NEO confirmation page again, which means another professional telescope detected it, and they didn't realize it was the previous known object until, I think a day or so later after I had already observed it. So that's a 7 billion year old object, and I think they estimate its age because of where it came from, in the galaxy. Okay, upcoming events. Okay, the 12th of August, the Siskiyou Land Trust is holding their event that they call the Summer Dark Sky Tour. And, it's an outstanding event. It draws a lot of public interest. People go out there who have no experience looking at the sky. And Barbara has, she's an excellent speaker and really draws in the audience and really does a great job of pointing out the different constellations and things like that. So it's a great outreach opportunity for our club. We're invited to bring our telescopes to share with the people there, and I plan on being there, and hopefully we'll get some more. Okay, Doug's going to be there. Yeah. And because it's near the peak of the Perseid meteor shower, we could stay later, bring some lawn chairs, lay back, and watch the meteors. Yeah, after the land trust, group was gone for the night. And then our monthly star party is gonna be on the 22nd of August. That's a Friday. And these are some of the moon's gonna set before the sun sets, you know, a minute before the sun, so we won't have any interference from the moon. Twilight's around 8:25 p.m. And not until twilight, the time where it gets dark enough to really start doing some serious observing, it's gonna be about 9 p.m. And new moon's actually gonna occur at 11 p.m. So, you know, a couple hours after it sets, we'll have a new moon. And in October 4th, we're hosting the International Observe the Moon Night. That's gonna be our annual get together at Shasta Park, where we invite the public to come in and observe the moon through our telescopes.
Last year, that was fun last year.
Yeah, and the year before, yeah, we're hoping to get, you know, better publicity out. One thing I'd like to do this year is actually set up a display here in the library. Somewhere where we set up some poster boards, you know, explain what the event is, have some pictures of the moon, have a little mini education for the public. And then hopefully see them out, at Shasta Park, look through the telescopes.
So is that gonna be close to a new moon, a full moon? October
Uh,
3rd, do you think?
No, I believe it's that typically. It's typically gonna be around first quarter, I think, what they shoot for. Because the best time to observe the moon is that first quarter and third quarter, because that's when it's, you know, you got the half phase that's visible from the earth, and you get the best contrast along the terminator. But on the fourth, that's a good question, Bill.
Yeah, I tried to calculate it.
Yeah,
And where's the Phoenix Sky Sanctuary?
that's an area, it's about 7 miles east of the town of McLeod on Highway 89.
Do you know where the exits are for the McLeod Falls, the upper, middle, lower falls?
Yes.
It's right on the other side of Route 89.
Oh, okay. Just
Yeah.
on the other, so you don't go right, go left.
Yeah, it's over, but it's a dirt road, and you go about 2 miles. It's a big opening, it's a burn area that burned, and it's wide open. And the Milky Way, it's crystal clear.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful site. It's and as Doug pointed out, we had the Bradley fire in, I believe, 2022. That burned 330 acres of the forest there. And the Forest Service actually went through and removed all the fallen trees and the dead trees. So it's pretty much a, you know, wide open area. It's kind of dusty. That's the only disadvantage. But the road going in there is one used by the logging company, so it's a hard rock road, so it's easy to drive with typical street vehicles. You don't have to worry about 4-wheel drive or anything like that. You know, just take it slow over the rock road.
And the field is dusty, or
Yeah,
It's a very dusty area.
yeah,
bring a tarp or whatever. If you want.
yeah. If you bring a tarp, to set up a telescope, that would help. But we got kind of an elevated area above the road where we've been setting up our telescopes, but there's nothing magical about that point. If we find an area a little bit further in that protects from the headlights and cars coming in,
Right.
you know, that might be a little bit better, because that's the only other disadvantage, is that cars driving into the site, the headlights shine onto our observing field.
Do people live back there? Or is they're coming to the stargazing?
No,
Yeah, they're just coming to the Stargates.
And there's just headlights on?
Yeah. I mean, it's a public road. Some people who live back in like North Shasta Forest might use that as an alternative route to come in. But for the most part, there's no other traffic after dark except our people coming in to do the observing. And leave.
Sometimes you have people camping back there.
Okay.
But once you're there, there's no matter what direction you look at, there's not one single man-made light to be seen anywhere. You can see a little bit of sky glow from, you know, the town of Weed. Yeah, I don't think we get any sky glow from McLeod, but Weed, Mount Shasta, and then Redding to the south.
Oh, okay.
So, but as Doug said, you know, you can see the Milky Way from horizon to horizon. Just-
Wow.
You see it from the galaxy. This looks like smudge.
So,
The directions are really clear on the Mount Shasta Stargazers.com website.
Oh, okay.
Very clear directions, maps.
Oh.
Everything.
so back to the International Observe the Moon Night, last year. Yeah, Lori and Lily did a great job of, putting together some posters or flyers to put around town here. But I'd like to expand that a little bit more and maybe get some of the other cities like Wairika and down, into Wee. So we know what it is.
They also put together excellent material for school kids.
Oh, yeah, Lori
Yeah, it was great.
had set up some tables with activities for the kids, and it was wonderful. Had a school, a Girl Scout troop come out, to earn observing credit for their merit badge. And Lori,
They came all the way from Red Bluff.
all the way from Red Club.
Wow. And it's actually 2 days before the full moon.
Is it 2 days?
The full moon is the 6th.
So it's closer to the full moon, okay.
Oh, I could, first quarter. I just checked. I just, on October 4th.
It's
Yeah,
2
the
days
full
before
moon
the full
on
moon,
the
the full moon's the 6th.
The first quarter.
Yeah, well, that's a site that, or the date that NASA picked, because this is a worldwide event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you have groups all over the world. Be observing on this night. So, but I would like to get poster boards put together and set up a library here, so people, visitors to the library can see. The event, what's gonna be going on. Still a couple other backward, I'm trying to get them moved a little bit forward, but the North Medford High School. Back last winter, they had one of their buildings, the roof collapsed, which is near the planetarium, so. So it's, haven't been able to get that scheduled yet. And then the Hat Creek Radio Observatory, we still want to get that in before winter, so,
And it's a daytime trip.
yeah, that's a daytime trip.
It's the radio telescope. Observatory.
Yeah, but they have, it's a self-guided tour. If you go to the website, we just show up and just walk through. But Barbara, with her magic, she is able to actually get a tour from some of the people who work there. So I'm trying to, get some contact information from her.
And they were on SETI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were on SETI. Search for extraterrestrial life.
Wow.
Yeah. So I haven't been there myself, but I think it's not that far from here. So
Beautiful
it'd
area.
be a great trip to go to, but.
Back Creek River runs near there. Fantastic place for picnicking. They have picnic tables and everything.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It's all bald eagle there.
So maybe we turn it into an event.
East, southeast.
Oh,
East
Fall
southeast.
River Hill?
Yeah, southeast.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So let's talk about exploring the third quarter moon. As I mentioned earlier, that's my favorite moon phase to observe. And kind of give you a background on why. Well, you remember last month I told you that I had gone to the Golden State Star Party and inadvertently bringing home a telescope. That's to the chagrin of my wife. But I thought, well, it'd be a good opportunity to check it out. Let's see what it can do on the moon. So this is the telescope here. Where you can see the photos that we're taking.
In your backyard?
Yeah, in the backyard.
You still have that?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna keep it. It's keep it. So, but it wasn't my fault.
showed up.
That's good. So,
It's worth it.
yeah, I have no idea how it ended up in the back of my truck. Just there when I got home. Well, now this is my first telescope. This is a 3-inch aperture Newtonian. that was sold by the company called Edmund Scientific Company on the East Coast. I'm familiar with that. So this picture here, this is taken about 1967. Wow. This is where I was looking at the moon, and you can see I had to improvise some gear to do the eyepiece projection.
We've been doing this for quite a while.
I have.
Wow.
And then you've got same telescope setup. This is the first image of the moon that I took in 1967. Using this little roundy box camera here.
Oh, wow.
You know, it was the outer diameter is recessed here a little bit, but the size perfectly fit around the eyepiece there, so I was able to hold it up, and you know, the recessed eyepiece kept it kind of steady. As the exposure for this one here, I think it's 2 or 3 seconds, so I had to keep the camera still for 2 or 3 seconds. And I was just ecstatic that, you know, I actually got to see some of the craters on the moon. You know, that was a very exciting one. And in 1976, I had a little bit more sophisticated equipment, so I was getting a little better images of the moon. And you can see the first quarter, you have the terminator right down the center of the disk. And then you have contrast between night and day on the moon, so you get the shadows, the longest shadows, so you can see some of the details aren't visible if you got a fully illuminated moon.
So we rotate, or that,
The moon does rotate,
but
but
you see both sides of the moon?
no,
Yeah.
and the reason for that
Yeah.
is what they call, you know, it's a tidal lock, so it took, you know, over the many, you know, millions and billions of years that the ocean tides locked with the moon to keep the moon always facing towards the earth. So the moon orbits the earth once every 28 fraction days. So the lunar day is actually that same period, 28 in a fraction days, but the same relative position of the earth always faces the earth. There is a little bit of wobble in there that you can see from effects called mutation and precession. So, and you can observe those, so you can actually see more than 100%. I think something like 110%. So you can see some of the as it wobbles. You
So
know,
the space station up there goes around the moon, or they
No.
can see,
no, space station's orbiting around the Earth.
so they can't go, they don't see around.
They've been around the dark side, they've seen the dark side of the moon
Yeah.
many times.
And the sun doesn't
Photos
shine,
of it, so, yeah.
sun doesn't shine on the dark side of the moon.
Correct.
It does,
So
it does.
they're able to observe, take pictures.
No, because they're the space station. Now we have other spacecraft that have gone to the moon, that have flown around the moon, that can take pictures of the dark side, even when it's lit. But the space station itself is in near Earth orbit around the Earth, so you can pretty much see the same parts of the moon that we can here.
Interesting.
So, but other spacecraft have gone
Round.
to the moon, but you have to orbit the moon to see the backside of the moon.
And when there's a new moon, when it's dark to us, it's dark because the sun's shining on the other side.
Right.
So it's very bright. If you were up on the other side of the sun, it would be very bright. It's just dark to us because our part of it's in shadow.
Right.
Only when there's a eclipse.
Oh, that's when it's really shine.
So, but that's a great question, that, you know, the moon, because it's, you know, it's not by accident that the same part of the moon is always facing us. It happens to do with the, you know, the gravitational effects between the Earth and the moon and the tides to keep it locked in. Okay, so one of the tools that you can find on our website is this is one here called the scientific visualization tool. That's a NASA website where you can actually go and put in, you know, specific date and time, and it'll show you what the moon's going to look like to you that night or at that particular time. So this is actually the 18th of July, about 12 hours universal time, which is about 5 o'clock in the morning when I was observing the moon for the third quarter. That's one thing bad about third quarter, you have to get up early in the morning, so. You know, the video made it sound easy, all you gotta do is get up or, you know, before the sun.
Yeah, right.
That's a
Yeah,
difficult,
right.
for many of us, so you really have to take an effort to get up to see this, but it's,
Gravity keeps you.
yeah. Or inertia, yeah. So. Okay, so this is the first one here. It's American Gorge. And this is the Greater Plato, you know, 63 miles in diameter. And the descriptions that we got here, this is from the other resource that we have on our website. It's actually a lunar atlas that you can download to your computer and bring it up, and you can click on, you know, many parts on the moon, you know, bring up information about what you're seeing. So,
It says it's filled with, something lava.
Somber, I have no idea what.
yeah,
What?
Was the moon made of lava?
no, there's a lot of lava flows on the moon, that's what many of this is, because you have, you know, volcanic action in the past and. You know, it's a little lava, but this is, the floor of this is pretty much, made from lava. But a lot of these descriptions, you know, you need to, there's a lot to learn about the moon and specific features, you know, because they're, they vary in age depending on what part of the moon you're looking at, so you look at a specific one. Yeah, I don't have any of the timelines, but I do have the lunar geographic, ages of these different features as well. That you look up. But we can see here, yeah, you can see the walls. They said these are 2,000-meter walls here.
2,000.
Yeah, so it's fairly high. But what's neat here is that you can see, you know, this side of the crater here, and it's kind of hard to tell what this is here, but from the shadow, you can see that's a fairly tall peak. And you can see the shadow going into the floor of Plato. And then down here, these are other mountains, you know, coming out of the, you know, the mare floor. So.
Bless you.
Bless you.
And this one here, I looked it up, this is Mons Pico. The description, isolated summit emerging from the lava of Mare Imbrane, so this is Mare Imbrane down here. And this is Gregorius up here, the frozen. Okay, this is Copernicus. It's 56 miles in diameter. And we call it a young and isolated formation. Again, you could do a lot of research and find out exactly, you know, how these features form. We don't have it here, but you can see how the rugged the lunar surface is.
Is that a meteor that hit it or
Yeah.
lava?
Yeah, most of the features on the moon are meteor hits.
Yeah.
It's 56 miles across.
Yeah, 56 miles across. And then what you can see here, you kind of see the terrace features here, which is over time you have, you know, slumping going on, so you have it actually kind of collapsing on itself, so it forms these features here. And you see a little small meteor right there. And again, it just, you know, the seeing was fairly good on this night, so that's why I was able to get a lot of the details that you can see here.
So you took these pictures.
Yeah,
Wow.
these were all taken with that telescope that we showed
Wow.
at the beginning.
Amazing.
So have a lot of meteors been attracted to the moon and hence haven't come to the Earth for impact?
No, that's a good question. Actually, the moon has, the gravity of the moon is about 1/6 of the Earth.
Mm.
So it's gonna attract less meteors.
Oh, I see.
So the
So
Earth-
Jupiter is the one that protects the Earth from what I've heard.
Well, yeah, Jupiter protects other planets in the solar system because it
Mhm.
just kind of swallows up everything near it.
Mhm.
But the ones near the Earth, so the Earth over time has actually had a lot more meteor impacts over time.
Oh,
But
interesting.
because of the geologic features that we have going on with the atmosphere,
Mhm.
these features erode and disappear.
Oh.
So we don't see them, but there's no atmosphere on the moon.
These are very, very old,
Mm.
Yeah.
billions of years.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there's no atmosphere, there's nothing to, erase the impact features.
Mm.
So this is just over time, they just pile on top of each other.
Mm.
Matter of fact, you can see some of the older craters here,
Mm.
and they get bombarded. And we're gonna see some more in the slides to come, some of the really older craters. And then you can see some of these here, or they're in a row because you had actually, kind of like a train of meteoroids coming in and
Mm.
impacting the Earth all along the same direction. But yeah, Copernicus, they have these features in here. You have these mountains, and then, of course, a lot of the details on the outer edge, and then the rays, you kind of see, where the rays are kind of getting away from Copernicus, which is, that's one of the things that you do see better with a fully illuminated moon. So if you look at the full moon, you can see like, Tycho, the crater Tycho, you have a lot of rays coming out of Tycho. Yeah, this is reading that, but yeah, they call these terraces on the wall here for, because of the slumping over time. Because although the moon doesn't have any atmosphere erosion going on, it still does have quakes and, shaking on the moon, so some of those effects of things settling occur because of that. It's called Monte Scarpatus. Again, this is straight out of that lunar atlas that you can download and have on your computer, which is a great companion if you have a little notebook. If you're looking at the moon, you can click on different features that you're looking at the moon and get a description on what you're looking at.
Cool. That's cool.
So, and again, you can see some of the shadows here, so you know it's a little bit higher than surrounding area. Okay, this is a good. And this is a good ghost crater here. We were talking about, they get erased because other meteors are impacting all around them. You got some of the lava fields going on, but you can see, the ghost crater here. It's almost completely obliterated, over time, but it was there at one time. But just the different features and how small craters you can see through the telescope. For that for a second. Okay, this is probably my favorite crater to observe on the moon, Clavius. And the reason, this photograph here was the first photo taken with a 200-inch telescope on Mount Palomar in 1952. And I first saw this again, as a young child on the cover of an astronomy magazine. So this is that same photograph put on the cover of the magazine. So that kind of, developed my expectations of what to see when I'm looking at Copernicus, or not Copernicus, but Clavius. And this is 1967 here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the photograph that I took.
When was that?
Beautiful.
When was this one?
Where?
When?
Oh, these are all taken on the same day,
Like when?
the 18th of
Where's that?
July.
Okay, so that's your picture.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, all these are my pictures here, except for the 200-inch and one.
Did you notice any additional craters?
I looked, but I didn't see any.
Okay,
But there's ways that, you can actually line up images too
Yeah.
and blank them, but, I tried that, but, you know, they're different resolutions, so. You see changes, but it's more because of loss of resolution between the comparison photographs under it.
It's like a hot springs mud pie.
Yeah, yeah, so you can see all these small craters here,
Oh.
what you can see here.
Oh, yeah,
that's central peak, on the inside of the crater. Over here, you can see some of these linear features over here, with some of the curve ones over here. You can actually see some slope features on the edge of this crater here. And then, of course, all the craters on the inside. And then some surrounding craters here.
Is that a volcanic?
Pardon?
Is that volcanic?
No, these are all, from lunar impact, so meteor.
So how big of a, the big one there, how big is
Crater?
Browns?
That's 142 miles wide.
Whoa, big meteor, hit that,
On here.
that was a big bang.
Yeah, we just,
It doesn't have any atmosphere, so it doesn't have any protection.
right, so it just comes in. Because the meteor is coming into the earth, our atmosphere burns up and, eliminates a lot of the meteor before it actually hits the earth.
That must
If it
have,
does hit the earth, then,
that must have dinged the belch.
yeah,
Must have run, you must have run for a quite.
well, yeah, no, back here, yeah, yeah, it must have, the seismic, waves going to, it could have, lasted weeks. Who knows, or how long it took, but.
So
Yeah.
that's the third quarter moon. And it's right there where the part where it's dark and light.
Right.
And then is it at the top or bottom of the?
This is actually, I believe this is on the south end of the moon, but then we're in this image here, so. So this is actually south up here,
Oh,
and north is down here,
Oh,
so I inverted it because,
okay.
my expectations of what Clavy should look like goes back in 1967 when I saw
Same color.
on the 19th. So, yeah, here's another blank in this, it's a 50 mile in diameter here. And again, you can see some of the features here where, a little bit of terracing and, slumping has occurred.
So how many, you think of like the earth, there's only small ones. Up where I grew up, in northern Canada, there's a huge one that's just probably 20 miles from where I grew up. That's major, it's a huge one.
Yeah, so that one, I think occurred probably millions of years ago, so
Yeah.
it's mostly eroded.
Yeah, it's one of the
You know,
biggest ones on
the
the planet.
freshest one on the planet we have right now, I believe, is still the one that's in Arizona, Meteor Crater, Arizona, if you've ever seen that. That's fairly fresh, I think that's 20,000 years ago,
Oh,
that it impacted and left a crater about a mile in diameter. And, the erosion occurs, but it occurs really at a very slow pace. I mean, it takes millions of years for it to really disappear. But, the earth is 4.5 billion years old, so it's had a lot of time to.
What do you think happened when it hit the earth? Like you saw the dinosaurs disappear, you saw different things. That's
Well, that was definitely a local event, so anything probably within a few hundred miles would have instantly, generated from the heat of the impact and, killed everything. It wasn't you know, as big an event as the Yucatan meteor crater, or the crater, that meteor that hit the earth and took out the dinosaurs. 67 million years ago, or whatever that time frame is, so,
Not a lot of snow, huh?
yeah. But that one, yeah, that one was a, you know, life-changing event on the earth, so really, yeah, that was kind of a, I believe one of the 6 or 7 periods where scientists believe the earth was, you know, literally rebooted. You know, from meteor impacts, and then life had to start all over again. For the moon here, you get a nice geologic record of things that have happened without, you know, they quickly disappearing. Quickly mean, you know, millions of years. Well, we do see impacts to this day on the moon. You know, people are observing the moon, they see sudden, back in the 60s and 70s, they call them transient lunar phenomenon. Because, you know, people would be observing the moon, all of a sudden they see a flash. But they could speculate what it was, but they really didn't have any proof. But there's so many people imaging the moon today that you get more than one recording of the flash. So that you know that it's not, you know, a defect in the camera that's not real, but it's actually confirmed. And I believe they might have even gone back and looked for new craters based on some of these smaller impacts, and might have seen one. I'm not 100% sure on that. Yeah, there's another crater again identified from that atlas. 70-mile crater up here. You can see that again, just taking all the little, you know, little craters in here that you wouldn't otherwise see. And here, you know, this one here is a complete shadow. It's actually the meteor here. Now this has gotten my favorite feature to look at the moon, other than non-crater. Yeah, you just not see that there. But this is called Lupus recta, and also commonly known as a straight wall. And it's actually, you know, a straight line feature, you know, kind of a rectally linear fault. So it's actually, you know, higher on this side than it is this side. So if you're in a third quarter moon, you know, it's illuminating this area here, which is, I believe it's several thousand feet high.
And it's covered with bright material?
No, it's just it's just a highly reflective. They compare it to the darker, you know, lava type stuff. So it's just reflecting more of the light. I'm not sure it's particularly, you know, that much brighter. But again, here's the description of it there. And you can't see it here, but there's actually another crater right here that's visible under other lighting conditions on the moon, but it's in complete shadow on this particular night.
Most of these are millions of years old.
Yeah, millions, if not billions of years old. And this is a crater Burt. And that's Mare Nubium, where we're looking at there. Yeah, down here you kind of see, again, you know, there's another ghost crater here.
Right.
This one here kind of, you know, looks like a scabbard of a sword down here. But you can kind of imagine, you know, the meteor, the crater being there.
What are those, that feature just to the upper left of Burke? Make those up.
Right here?
Yeah, that.
Yeah, that's actually a rill. So those are
A what?
a rill. They're actually, you know, formations. It's sort of like a earthquake fault. That's along here. I think we have a description, coming up, but there's. Yeah, they're fairly common to see on them. I might have a better one coming up here too, but. Oh yeah, this is it seems to be broken here, but it's actually a shadow of this crater coming across here and, you know, hitting the edge of it there. So if there are other phases of the moon or lighting, you'd see as one continuous, line there. Okay, this is called the Brimmer bird. It's a railway bend in the formation of an S in the middle, so it's kind of, I don't know if it's considered going all the way along this direction here. But it's a geologic feature, you know, sort of like an earthquake fault line.
It's called the Till, T-I-L.
R-I-L-L-E.
Real,
Real.
real.
Hmm.
Yeah, there you can see more of the details there.
Where your telescope really gets clarity.
Yeah, it's amazing.
No, this is
John knows. what
I'm
he's
glad it
doing.
found its way in the back of my truck.
Right. It's so bad.
Yeah, and I think that all the telescopes I've ever owned, this has got to be the best one.
This is a new one?
Yeah.
They got Star Party?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a new, you know, 55-year-old telescope. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's new to me. Yeah,
It's a 55-year-old.
yeah.
Wow.
What's the size of it?
It's 12 and a half inches.
12 inches. Wow.
And a cast grain focus. But yeah, so you can see where it looks more like a fault line coming across here now. You can kind of see, you know, the gap, but kind of like a little canyon feature.
So with newer that's 55-year-old telescope, but the newer one's gonna get in closer.
No,
No?
no, I mean, some of the newer ones you can get, you know, you have better images with the refractors with better glass, but, you know, it's a lot more expensive to get to this level, even with the newer telescope. Although, yeah, they can match this, with a similar size telescope. So if you got like an 11-inch Celestron or something like that, but with good optics. But what amateurs find out with mass-produced telescopes is you got some good ones and you got some bad ones, and you need to really go through a lot of telescopes until you find one that's a good one. We're already tested. So this is definitely a good one. Because the optics were made by a company called Cave Telescope in Southern California, if you've ever heard of them. So, but it was one of the, I guess, the world famous today, optical company. And he made this one here and he put a lot of effort into it and just got the quality of the glass. So it's really, really outstanding. Okay, here's another one. Right, things. It's a very steep slope of the road, especially to the south. So. But then what you can see along here is the Apennines. Feature here, a mountain range.
How high are those mountains?
That's one that you can see pretty easily in it, through the telescope.
How high are the mountains looking?
Well, let's see if I. You know, I didn't record how high they were, but. This is the name of that mountain range. And the slopes of 30 degrees on average. But I'm sure there are, you know, several thousand. Maybe 5,000-6,000 feet, somewhere in that order.
Oh, I was Shasta.
14,000.
These are smaller.
Uh, I believe a lot of these are smaller, but there's. That's a good question, I mean,
Cause that circle, the meteor strike there is how.
yeah, that's a good question. And I don't have a definitive answer to that. Next meeting, I'll find out for you. And again, to zoom in on the features here. And you can kind of see, you know, some of those radials, radially moving away from there. Again, you can see a rill down here. You can see some of the lava formations here, more peaks coming out of lava. Well, let me go back, look on something else.
There's no, current lava flows.
No,
These were millions and billions of years ago. Everything, the moon has cooled down.
very ancient. Yeah, here's one. Oh, goddess, and you can see, looks almost like a ghost feature, or becoming a ghost feature. Got an off-center hill mountain here. Fields and craterlets along here.
What causes the mountain to be off center? Because that's the resurgent dome. That's the, you know, when the impact, it pushes up
Yeah.
in the middle.
Yeah, no,
After
there's
the
no
impact. So
that's a good question.
why is it off center? Did it come in at an angle or?
Or it could be the effects of multiple hits, you know, around that area where, okay. But I don't know the answer to that. But again, you can see another rill over here. Again, earthquake fault, and you can see some of these linear features here. That I have no idea, I mean. People have literally spent a lifetime studying the moon, you know, to learn, try to understand why all these features exist. That you can imagine. But we do have a great tool that you can download. There's a link on our website that you go and download the tool. And it brings up the moon, and you just click on different features that you want information on.
What's it called?
It's. Yeah, no, the name escapes me right now, but it's a lunar atlas.
Lunar Atlas.
Yeah. I can look up, after the meeting here, because I've got it on this computer here, so. I can look that up for you. Yeah, this is kind of a very old feature here. Matter of fact, this looks like it might have been composed from two different impacts at the same time, so. You know, something like this might have caused the off center. Like, I don't know, I'm just speculating. But that was an excellent question. Well, again, you can see the rail here, and you can actually see where it's fractured in the center of that. Okay, this is the last thing. You get more than one image, and what I like to do is to animate them, you get two or more images. And then just link them back and forth. Like always when I play these at sunset, you can actually see the shadows moving. This is the period of about 30 minutes that I took the shadows to change the way you're seeing them here. And you can see them slightly changing over here. And you can see the mountain peak here. And some of them along the edge here. But I think that's kind of a cool feature. And you can imagine if you just took maybe 20 or 30 of these, and you get a more continuous, you know, showing the shadow moving across the floor of the crater. So that's why you've got like a tenth at some point. All right, any questions? All right.
I have a strange question. What else is new? What does your wife think about all this?
She tolerates it.
She ever comes?
No, she's, I've taken her outside and look at the telescope on some of the best nights and she'll look at it and go, oh. and then go back in.
Right.
But she tolerates, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
and she tolerates my, bringing home the occasional new telescope.
How many astro scans do you have in your collection?
Well, I think I'm down to about 12 or 13. So, but I have company come over and then, like, on the way out, hey, would you like one of these telescopes? And they oblige me to take them. Yeah, if you're not familiar, the Astroscan was a little red tube telescope built by Edmund Scientific Company in the late 70s. And there's a
They
lot
would
of,
be carry hiking.
yeah,
Backpackers.
but well, they claim you could, but it's a pretty heavy thing to carry on your back.
Mhm.
But that's one of the selling features, but. No, it's a nice telescope. It's fairly rugged. It's great for kids. So. Okay, so let's open it up to the floor. Any thoughts and ideas what you guys want to do? Things you want to see in the future? Any programs or topics that you're interested in?
I would like to hear about how best to observe deep space objects and like the Andromeda Galaxy and stuff. How to determine the right eyepieces and all that kind of stuff to observe. And, any tricks of the trade, any filters that would make things better, because, I'm a rank beginner and it would help anybody else who's a rank beginner.
Yeah, because visual observing, that's again, it's a learned experience where
Yeah.
people spend literally decades learning how to properly look at deep space objects. Selecting the right equipment, because it's not you just grab one eyepiece and put it in there, expect to see the best view that you can get. It's trial and error, trying different eyepieces and different.
But you have a lot of experience.
Well, not visual observing. I'm doing more visual observing now at our public events than I have in the past.
Okay.
So I've been mostly doing the photography.
What other kind of observing is there?
Remote?
Well, that you can do remote, but photography or imaging. Because one of the things that I do is image near Earth asteroids. You want to get close to the Earth. So that's something I typically do every clear night that we have. I open up the telescope and program it to observe through the night. It goes out and gathers the images.
You're not there. It's programmed.
Yeah, it's programmed. And then in the morning, I collect all the images and then I go through and reduce them. I should do the measurements and then report them to the minor planets. And so,
Thank you.
And this is
Yeah.
asteroids you're talking about?
yeah, and near Earth asteroids in particular. The ones
Which one's there?
near Earth, the ones that are coming close to
Right.
the Earth.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, in the beginning, when you saw that 3I, that interstellar object, it first got reported as discovery on the Minor Planet Center site, where they post newly discovered objects to get other people around the world to take what they call follow-up observations, to confirm the existence of it, and also get further positions so they can calculate the orbit. So, I use that page to, select newly discovered near-Earth asteroids to go after.
Have you discovered some interesting ones?
There's a lot of interesting ones. But, with post, looking.
Yeah.
I haven't discovered a near-Earth asteroid. I've discovered a few, main belt asteroids of the Earth, but not a, near-Earth asteroid. But I have gotten them, that are very close to the Earth, closer than the moon to the Earth, and traveling at a high rate of speed.
Does all the space junk that we're getting out there now with all the satellites and numerous, is that causing issues with observation?
To some degree.
So much stuff out there.
Yeah, to some degree, but you know, it's any science, when you have obstacles, you come up with ways to counter those obstacles. And what we do now, back in the day when you're just doing film, taking an image of film, you'd open up the camera for, you know, for an hour or two, and just let the photons fall on the emulsion of the film. But if you had all these satellites coming through that, yeah, that absolutely would have destroyed it, you know, 50 years ago.
Mm.
But today, we take images, we might take 10-second exposures and take 200 or 300 of those, and then combine them, then you can actually, you know, eliminate the tracks of the satellites.
Wow.
And there's a lot of them out there. You're
Yeah,
walking every night.
yeah.
You know, an hour walk or whatever you're seeing.
Yeah. No, especially
10 or
with
20 of them.
Starlink. Yeah, if you've seen
So,
a Starlink.
Oh, yeah, we were walking a month and a half ago and
Yeah,
necklace went right over us.
Yeah. and you get those right after a launch, within the first couple of days,
Yeah,
yeah.
following a launch until they get dispersed into their individual orbits.
right, but that was so close, it came right,
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty spectacular.
have you seen them up here?
Yeah.
So there's quite a few of them.
Yeah, it's been a lot, I've seen them. Yeah, quite a bit. So,
So that necklace is right after they launched them, they have to get spread out and.
right, yeah, because they all originate from the same, you know, spacecraft.
Yeah,
And then once they're released and they have little jet motors on them, so then they thrust out to their assigned orbit spots. And that takes you know, days or maybe even weeks before that's completed. So when you see them, when they, you know, appear to be a train,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're actually on their way to
21 of them or so.
the assigned orbits, yeah.
well, yeah. Huh, that's very strange.
Yeah, it felt like it was just above us and
Yeah,
flying in.
yeah.
Almost like it's like a.
No, it's the first time I saw one, just absolutely memorized it.
Yeah, it's.
And I was actually out in the backyard observing. And I was observing an object near the zenith, near sunrise. So, you know, I saw a satellite go through my field of view, so I, you know, naturally looked up to see if I could see it with my naked eye. And then I saw it, and then all of a sudden there's another one. And what was interesting is you can only see the satellites when they're in sunlight. So this string of satellites was coming out of darkness into sunlight, so I was looking at the zenith, and all of a sudden one would appear and join the procession of the other one, you know, at her east. So I just watched them, one would appear, join the parade, and, you know, just.
Well, it's
just
really
look for-
different for us. It kind of reminded me of, you know, the
Necklace.
a jellyfish.
Yeah.
That you see in the, you know, that's
Yeah.
luminous or
Yeah,
something.
it's probably fully
What does that
illuminated.
mean?
Yeah, fully illuminated when you saw it. It was
Yeah.
pretty-
Yeah,
Yeah, but it probably I guess, probably backlit from the sun, like
Yeah.
when the sun was.
But if you watch them long enough, they'll actually disappear as they go into.
Yeah,
into
yeah,
the
they
darkness.
did, yeah,
Yeah.
they finally disappeared, yeah.
that was going pretty slow.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful sight, but, you know, a lot of people are upset about it, but I personally, I believe we need the technology to get sites on the earth, you know, with communication. And like I said, we can come up with ways to counter the effects of
That's great.
of our photographs, yeah. Yeah, plus, SpaceX too is taking things on their part, they're actually painting, you know, satellites darker, so they don't reflect as much sunlight. So it's kind of a team effort, going back and forth.
So we saw the moon tonight. Are you gonna do different planets? Off the moon?
Actually, I didn't bring you the photographs, but I actually imaged Saturn and Venus. Separated. So,
it's his cousins.
You wanna see them?
yeah, well, I'll show them,
Next month.
yeah, next month, but I just want to concentrate on the moon. the
Get
third
a
quarter.
bird later. Can you look
Yep.
east?
Yeah, you can see Venus. And then you can see Jupiter next to Venus, and then Saturn, you know,
They're bright.
rises earlier, yeah, they're bright. So,
Do you have an app recommended on the phone? Cause I've got one on the phone. It's okay. I can put out and see all the different things, but it's not. You know, is there anything?
Yeah,
Oh.
there's a semi-professional one.
Everything painted.
Let me see. Space Science.
Yeah, there's
Sky
different,
Safari Pro.
yeah, Sky Safari, I'd use that.
Yes, Sky Safari.
And
We got
Sky
Skyview.
Safari Pro.
Skyview.
Costs about $30 a year, but.
Because, well, there's different applications, if you're just looking for one that identifies things in the sky for you,
Yeah.
you have that. But Sky Safari, they'll actually connect to telescope,
Oh, no,
wow.
You can
things
use
like
it
that.
to control your telescope.
control your telescope with it, so,
that's cool.
Yeah,
yeah, so there's different levels of what you get.
Yeah.
but you just point it up and, you know, it has all these different tiers here.
Um,
Yeah, well,
The basic Sky Safari, I believe, is free, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
but if you want to connect to your telescope, you have to pay for the app, but that's a one-time fee too.
Yeah.
But that might be a good subject too, different apps for looking at the sky. So. Okay, well, I see we've run over time. I hope Lori's not upset with us over there. She says no, but yeah, I appreciate your patience, Lori.
It's pretty mellow.
So, okay, well, thank you everyone for.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed the program. I understand why I love the third, fourth, and one.
It's 7:30.